The creator economy is worth over $500 billion and it is growing every single year. There are more coaches, more creators, more experts, and more people with an audience than at any point in human history. And yet, most of them are broke. Most of them are sitting on thousands of followers, years of expertise, real knowledge that can change people's lives, and they're making less money than someone working part-time at a coffee shop. And the reason for this, it's not because they don't have talent, and it's not because they don't have an audience. It's not because their content isn't good enough either. The real reason is that nobody ever showed them how to turn what they know into a real business. That is what this video is about. So if you clicked on this video, it's because you're either a coach, a creator, or an expert who knows that deep down, your knowledge is worth more than what you're currently being paid for it. So pay attention, because I'm going to show you the exact step-by-step system that creators are using right now to turn their expertise into businesses that generate 5 figures, 6 figures, and beyond every single month. Now, I'd like to be 100% transparent here, so I do have to say this. Just because I get these results doesn't mean that you will. See, I'm the person who actually built this system. I've spent the last 16 plus months in the trenches, operating for real creators and coaches. And I always like to make that very clear in the beginning of any training, because at the end of the day, my reputation is built on how transparent I actually am. So I certainly cannot guarantee that you'll get results like the ones that I've gotten and my creator partners have gotten. But what I can 100% guarantee is what you're about to see are the results of other regular average creators who are using this simple system that I'm about to show you. Just like Alexis, who was doing inconsistent months with no real launch strategy, relying entirely on setters and closers, and where within our first year working together, we're actually able to collect $750,000 plus in cash and onboarded 281 clients into his coaching program and hitting a few $100,000 months along the way. Or Carlos, who went from being a full-time realtor with 0 digital products to having a fully built, ready to sell offer online. So in case we haven't met yet, my name is James Hernandez. And if you're looking for the best way to monetize your audience and your expertise in 2026 without having to spend years figuring out the tech, without having to become a marketing genius, or without having to gamble your income on platforms that can just shut you down overnight, then this is the exact video for you. I'm going to be showing you the 4-phase system that creators and coaches are using to build real, predictable income from their expertise. And I'm going to deliver all that to you, plus more, in the next 45 or so minutes. So if you don't have about 40 minutes to invest into your financial future, well, then I guess this probably wouldn't be for you anyways. Now, if you stay here and watch this video until the end, I'm actually going to send to you as a gift the complete offer launch checklist, which is actually a step-by-step breakdown of every single thing that needs to happen to take your expertise and turn it into a sellable, scalable product. That is actually the exact checklist that I use when I build these systems for my own clients. And for everything I'm about to show you today, I want you to know that I am speaking from real experience. See, I've spent the better part of 2 years operating as a CEO and partner in the online coaching space. I've been personally responsible for over $100,000 in monthly cash collected, where just one of my partners cash collected in 2025 was $750,000 plus, and our total revenue, $906,000. I'm consulting.com certified. I've paid thousands of dollars to learn directly from Alex Hermosi, and I've been publicly recognized from Eamon Gatsi as well as my other creator partners. I've launched multiple online offers, from paid to organic traffic, from low ticket to high ticket, all the way to elite mentorships priced at $15,000 and more. And I'm going to be sharing all of that with you today in excruciating detail. So let's get started. So there are 3 reasons why selling your expertise as an info product, as a course, or as a coaching program is hands down the best business models for creators in 2026. Well, number 1, it's the highest margin business model available to you right now. We're talking anywhere from 90% plus margins when you sell a digital product, because there is no cost of goods. There's no inventory, there's no shipping, there's no manufacturing. You create it once and then you sell it over and over and over again. Well, actually every dollar that comes in is almost essentially all profit. And when you compare that to literally any other business model out there where you're paying for a product, paying for fulfillment, paying for shipping, paying for storage, the math doesn't even come close. Number two, the creator economy is absolutely exploding. It's projected to be worth over $500 billion, and it continues to grow year after year. And here's what most people don't realize. The creators who are growing the fastest right now are not the ones with the biggest audiences. They are in fact the ones with the best monetization systems. There are creators with 50,000 followers making more money than creators with 5 million followers. The difference is not the audience size. The difference is the infrastructure behind it. And number three, there's a massive gap in the market right now that I call the creator monetization gap. Look, think about it. There are millions of creators who have all built audiences. They have followers, they have engagement, they have expertise, but they have no product. They have no offer. They have no system that actually converts that attention into income. They're essentially sitting on a gold mine and don't have a shovel. And the ones who do try to monetize, well, they're doing it in the worst possible ways. Which brings me to my next point. Now, before I actually show you this system, I need to show you why most creators are doing this completely wrong. Because if you don't understand why the current approach fails, you won't fully appreciate why this system works. So let's walk through the most common ways creators try to make money. And I want you to actually evaluate them with me, because most creators never take the time to actually evaluate their monetization model on a fundamental level, that is. They just pick up whatever seems easiest or whatever they see other creators doing, and they never stop to ask, is this actually a good model? Let me show you exactly what I mean. See, I think there are 6 things that you need to evaluate when looking at any monetization model. Revenue per deal. How much money are you making per transaction? Consistency. Can you predict your income month to month? Control. Do you own the relationship with the customer, or does your platform own it? Scalability. Can this grow without you trading more time? Margin. How much money do you actually keep? And deal type. Is this a one-off, or is this a reoccurring payment? Now, let's use these exact 6 metrics to judge the most common ways creators are making money right now. First, let's look at brand deals. Brand deals are where a company pays you to promote their product on your platform. The revenue per deal can range anywhere from $500 to maybe $5,000, and sometimes more if you have a massive audience. But there's a problem with brand deals. The consistency is completely unpredictable. You may get 3 deals one month and 0 the next. You have absolutely no control because the brand decides whether to work with you, how much to pay you, and whether to renew. Scalability is very low because every deal requires individual negotiation, and margins are high. It's essentially free money for posting the content, but the deal type is always going to be one-off. You get paid once and then you're done. And here's what nobody talks about. Every time you do a brand deal, you're renting out your audience's attention to someone else's product. You are literally building someone else's business instead of your own. Now let's look at UGC, user-generated content. UGC is when you create content for brands to use on their own channels. Revenue per deal is low. We're talking $100 to $500 per video. Consistency is fast or feminine. You're constantly chasing the next client. Control is 0 because the brand owns your content you create. Scalability is terrible because you're trading time for money on every single video. Margins are decent because it's like just your time, but the brand deal is always one off again. UGC is essentially freelancing with a trendy name, and the moment the brand finds someone cheaper, you're done. Next, affiliate marketing. Affiliate marketing is where you promote someone else's product and earn a commission. Revenue per deal is low, usually $5 to $100 per sale. To make $10,000 a month with affiliate marketing, you would need to generate anywhere from 100 to 2,000 sales per month. Now, look, I don't know if you've ever tried to sell 100 to 2,000 of any units of anything before in a month, but that requires some serious marketing skill and serious traffic. Consistency depends entirely on how much content you're pumping out, and control is minimal because you don't own the product, you don't own the customer relationship, and the company can change commission rates or cancel the program at any time. Scalability is medium, margins are medium because you are splitting the revenue with the product owner. And the deal is always going to be one-off. Next, let's look at ad revenue. This is the money that platforms like YouTube or TikTok pay you for running ads on your content. Now, ad revenue sounds like a great idea in theory. See, you post the content, people watch it, you get paid. But the reality is that the average CPM, that's cost per 1,000 views, is somewhere between $2 and $5. That means that for every 1,000 people who watch your video, you're making $2 to $5. To make $10,000 a month from ad revenue alone, you need millions of views per month. Millions. The consistency is entirely algorithm dependent. One month you go viral, the next month, crickets. You have zero control because the platform decides what to show, what to monetize, and what to demonetize. And the moment the algorithm shifts, your income disappears overnight. Now let's talk about TikTok Shop. And this is the one that really gets me. TikTok Shop is where creators sell products directly through TikTok. And I get it. On the surface, it looks attractive. You make content, you link a product, people buy it while they're scrolling. But here's the reality. You are one algorithm change, one policy update, one account flag away from losing everything. Now, let me ask you something. Looking at all of these models, do you see why most creators are struggling? They're playing a game where they don't even control the rules. They don't own the customers, and their income can disappear at any time. But what if there was a model where you controlled everything? You owned the product, you owned the customer relationship, you set your own prices, you could generate income predictably month after month with almost 90% margins. Well, there is. And it's been right in front of you this whole time. The ideal monetization model for creators in 2026 is selling your expertise as a digital product. A course, a coaching program, a mentorship, whatever actually makes sense for your specific audience. Now, let me walk you through why by using the exact same metrics we just evaluated. Revenue per deal. When you sell your own info product, you're looking at anywhere from $500 to $10,000 or more per sale. Not $5, not $100. We're talking about real money from one single transaction. This means that to make $10,000 a month, you only need a handful of sales. Not hundreds, not thousands, a handful. Consistency. When you have a real offer with a real funnel behind it, your income becomes predictable. You know that for every X number of leads that come in, Y will book calls, Z numbers will buy. It becomes math, not luck, not an algorithm. Math. Control. You own everything. You own the product, you own the customer list, you own the pricing. No platform can seize your funds. No brand can decide not to renew. No algorithm can cut your income in half overnight. It's yours. And scalability. Look, a digital product is infinitely scalable. You create the course once and you can sell it to 10 people or 10,000 people. The product never changes. The fulfillment doesn't really get any harder, and you're not trading more time for money on every single transaction. Margins. Now, this is the big one. 90% plus. When you sell a $15,000 coaching program, the cost of the delivery is close to zero. There is no inventory, there is no shipping, there is no manufacturing. In fact, almost every dollar is profit. Then there's deal type. This is actually what separates good businesses from great businesses. When you structure an offer correctly, it's not just a one-off payment. It's reoccurring. Monthly coaching, monthly membership, subscription access. Each new client stacks on top of the last one. 1 month, you sign 3 clients at $2,000 a month. That's $6,000. Month 2, you sign 3 more. Now you're at $12,000. Month 3, $18,000. The math continues to compound. Now, ladies and gentlemen, do you see why this is the model? Do you see why creators who figure this out make more money with 50,000 followers than creators with 5 million followers who are chasing the next brand deal? This is not theory. Look, let me show you what exactly this looks like in practice. Before I came in, Alexis had a real coaching program. He had an expertise and he had an audience. He was coaching people in real estate, but the months were inconsistent. He was relying entirely on the setters and closers with no system behind it. There was no launch strategy. He had no back-end infrastructure, no automated follow-up, no conversion optimization. He was essentially running a business on hustle and hope. And look, that approach can work for a while. You can muscle your way to $5, $10, and even $20,000 a month just on grit alone, but it has a ceiling, and Alexis had hit it. Then we implemented this system I'm about to show you. And within our first year of working together, we collected $750,000+ in cash, while our total revenue hit $906,000. We onboarded 281 new clients into his coaching program that was priced at $4,000+. Same creator, same expertise, same audience, completely different results. The only thing that changed was the system behind it. Now, before I talk about exactly how creators are using this system to get results like this, I want you to think about where we are right now in the creator economy. There are more people building audiences than ever before. More coaches, more experts, more creators producing content every single day. And every single one of them is eventually going to reach a point where they ask the same question. How do I actually make money from this? Right now, most of them are choosing brand deals, UGC, affiliate marketing, TikTok shop, the models we just broke down, the models with low revenue per deal, zero control, and unpredicted income. But a small percentage of them are figuring out that the real money is in selling their own expertise. And the ones who figure it out first, the ones who build their systems now, they're the ones who will dominate their space over the next decade. And by the way, the demand for this is absolutely through the roof. There are just simply not enough people who actually know these systems. So if you've ever wanted to be early to something big, this is it. And now it is time to take advantage of it. So the question becomes, how do you actually do this? How do you take your expertise, your knowledge, your coaching ability, and turn it into a real monetization system? Through what I call the 4-phase offer launch system. And here's what we do. Phase 1, extract. Phase 2, build. Phase 3, launch. Phase 4, scale. When you execute this process correctly, you should be able to go from having an expertise and an audience to having a fully built, market-tested, revenue-generating offer in as little as 90 days. Let me break down each phase. So let's talk about phase 1, extract. This is the phase that most creators skip entirely, and it's the reason why most courses, most coaching programs, and most digital products fail before they even launch. You see, most creators make the mistake of thinking they already know what to sell. They think, I'm a fitness coach, so I'll create a fitness course. Or I'm a real estate expert, so I'll create a real estate coaching program. I'm good at social media, so I'll sell a social media course. And on the surface, that logic makes sense, but it's wrong. And it's wrong because what you think you should sell and what your audience actually wants to buy are almost never the same thing. Phase 1 is all about intelligence. Before we build anything, before we write a single word of copy, before we touch a single piece of technology, we do a full deep dive into the market. First, we do an audience and demand analysis. We look at engagement signals. We analyze comment patterns. We read every single DM. We study content performance. We're simply not guessing at what people want. We're finding data that tells us exactly what transformation your audience is willing to pay for. Now notice I said transformation, not niche. This is important. People don't buy niches. People don't buy topics. People buy transformations. They buy the version of themselves that exists on the other side of your product. Your job is to identify this specific transformation that your audience wants badly enough to pay for. Second, we do offer positioning and pricing architecture. This means that you're figuring out exactly where your offer sits on the market. Are you low ticket, mid ticket, or high ticket? The answer to that question is not based on what you feel like charging. It's based on the transformation you're providing and what the market will actually bear. Third, we validate offer market fit before any assets get built. This is critical. Most creators spend months building a course, recording videos, designing slides, setting up their platforms, only to launch and hear crickets. You see, we don't do that. We validate first. We make sure people actually want this thing before we invest any time into building it. And fourth, we do a competitive teardown of every adjacent creator, every competing offer, every funnel in your space. We study what's working, what's not, and where the gaps are, and how we can possibly position you as the obvious choice. And fifth, we map out the entire monetization pathway from start to finish with organic content to DM to call to checkout. Every single step of how a stranger becomes a paying client. Now, this phase is boring, so I'll be honest with you, it's not sexy. It's not the fun part, but I can tell you that from building these systems for multiple creators, that this phase alone is the difference between launching to crickets and actually launching to cash. See, this is the exact phase that most creators skip when they try to do this themselves. They jump straight to recording videos, building landing pages, and then they wonder why nobody buys. Now, phase 2 is build. This is where we actually construct the entire machine. And when I say the entire machine, I mean everything. Let me walk you through what that looks like. First, we design the offer from scratch. The outcome, promise, the scope, the delivery method, the constraints. We architect the entire product so that it's not just a random collection of videos thrown onto a platform. It's a structured transformation system that takes someone from point A to point B in the most efficient way possible. We structure the program out. Is it one-on-one coaching, group coaching, a hybrid? Is it cohort-based, evergreen? The answer depends on your specific situation, your audience size, and your capacity and your actual revenue goal. We figure out what is the right model for you. Then we build the actual curriculum. Full course outlines, both at the macro and lesson level. Complete lesson scripts with teaching points, examples, transitions, implementation worksheets, SOPs, and action steps. Course documents, PDFs, playbooks, and internal systems. We design progression logic so the students know exactly what to do, in what order, and why. But here's where it gets really interesting. We also build out all the scripts. And I don't just mean your course scripts, I mean everything. Long form VSL scripts, short form VSLs for DM page or in page embedments, webinar scripts that go from education to authority to pitch to close, sales call scripts with discovery questions, objection handling, and closing frameworks, DM scripts for inbound, outbound, follow-up, and ghost recovery, email scripts for nurture sequences, launch sequences, urgency campaigns, and reactivation. Every single word that touches a potential customer is written, tested, and optimized. Then, my personal favorite, we build out the AI systems. Custom AI bots trained on your framework, your language, your tone, your teaching style, your specific offer and methodology. AI role-play bots for coaching, prompt architectures with guardrails, essentially. We even design how AI integrates into your community and whether to package it as a paid product or an internal asset. The entire tech infrastructure, payment processors set up on platforms like WAP, subscription, payment plans, checkout page logic, failed payment recovery systems, so that way you don't lose revenue to expired cards, access control systems, so that way the right people get the right content at the right time. And finally, some CRM or go high level setup infrastructure, full account configuration, pipeline creation with deal stage logic, contact segmentation and tagging, opportunity tracking and reporting, calendar integrations and booking logic and custom workflows for different users' behaviors. Now, look, I know that was a lot, and that's the point. This, my friend, is what it actually takes to build a real monetization system. It's not just recording a few videos and throwing them on Teachable. It's an entire operational backend that most creators don't even know exists, let alone know how to build. And this is exactly why most creators who try to do this on their own get stuck. They don't even know what they don't know. They think the hard part is creating the content, but the content is actually the easy part. The hard part is everything I just described. Now, phase 3 is launch. This is where everything comes alive. You see, most creators think that launching means posting on Instagram and saying, hey, my course is available, link in bio. See, that's not a launch. That is a prayer. A real launch is an engineered event. It has a strategy. It has a timeline. It has a sequence of communications designed to take your audience from awareness to desire to action in a very specific, very intentional order. Here's what a real launch looks like. First, we build the entire full funnel. Entry point to nurture to conversion. We map out every single step of the journey from the moment someone sees your content to the moment they enter their credit card information. Every page, every email, every text, every touch point is designed and built before we go live. We design lead magnets and opt-in systems, so that way you're capturing email addresses and phone numbers from your organic traffic. Because here's the rule most creators don't understand. If a follower doesn't give you their contact information, they're not actually your follower. They're the platform's follower. And the platform can take them away from you at any time. Your email list and your phone number list are yours forever. Next, we set up the launch event. My personal favorite, the webinar funnel. Live, hybrid, or evergreen, depending on your situation. These are the most powerful conversion tools in the online education space. And frankly, most creators have never even run one because they simply don't even know how to set one up. We build full DM to call funnel systems using things like MiniChat or Claude automations, keyword-based triggers, story reply automations, and then like human handoff logic. So that way, when someone DMs you the word info, they're automatically entered into a qualification sequence that books them on a call without you ever having to manually respond to every single message. Then we build the actual launch sequence. Full launch calendar, planning, story-based launches that require no paid advertising, email plus text launch sequences, scarcity and urgency mechanics that are real, not manufactured, live event coordination, including webinars and even private calls. And here's what separates a real launch event from everything else. We don't just launch and pray, we build an automation system that actually works while you sleep. Text message automations for reminders and follow-ups, email automations for nurture, launch and onboarding sequences, webinar automations for registrations and reminders, Zoom automations for registration sync, reminders, and follow-up, conditional logic automations within if-then behavior paths, and fail-safe systems to prevent drop-off or missed follow-ups. Every single piece of this is built, tested, and activated before the day of the launch. So that way, when launch day actually comes, you're not scrambling around. You're not stressed, you're not manually sending DMs at midnight. The system does the work. You show up and coach. Most creators, even the ones who figure out how to launch successfully, they stop here. They do one launch, it goes well, and then they don't know what to do next. They wait a few months, try to launch again, and then the results are worse. And they start to think the model doesn't work. But the model works perfectly. What they're missing is the scale phase. The scale phase is about optimization, automation, and iteration. First, sales and conversion system optimization. We design call flows and optimize them based on real data. We build show-up rate optimization systems because it doesn't matter how many calls you book if people don't even show up. We implement objection tracking and refinement so every objection a prospect raises on the call gets fed back into the system that actually improves the scripts and handling. We write and create sales processes, SOPs for setters and closers with clear communication and compensation structures. And we build call review frameworks with improvement loops so that way your sales team gets better every single week. Remember Alexis? Before we implemented these systems, he was relying entirely on setters and closers with no real process. No call scripts, no objection tracking, no performance data, just vibes. After implementing the scale phase, we systemized everything. That is how you go from inconsistent $30,000 months to consistent $75,000 to $100,000 months. Second, DM and social automation. DM flow design that combines, manual outreach with automated sequences. Mini chat and Claude automations triggered with logic-based keyword triggers and response flows. Story reply automations and human handoff logic so that way when the conversation gets serious, an actual real person takes it over seamlessly. Third, analytics and optimization. KPI tracking across leads, calls, closes, and cash collected. Funnel conversion analysis at every single step. Messaging refinement based on real data, not gut feelings. Offer iteration without rebuilding from scratch, and scaling decisions based on constraints, not ego. Fourth, retention, because the most profitable sale is the one you don't ever have to make again. Client onboarding flows, welcome sequences, community structure and engagement systems, weekly cadence planning for calls, content, and check-ins, retention and community optimization, and upsell and expansion planning so that every client who comes in has a path to spend more money with you over time. This is the phase where the math starts to compound, where each month builds on the last, where you stop working harder and start working smarter, and where you go from running a business to owning a machine. So the question becomes, how can you get results like this? Like the results you've seen throughout this video? Well, my friend, you have two options. The first option is to take the information I've given to you today and just try to figure it out by yourself. And listen, that definitely is a viable option. Everything I've shown you today works. The 4 phases are real. The system is real. If you feel like it's best suited for you, go ahead. However, know that you will most likely lose some valuable months or maybe even years trying to figure out everything on your own. And long term, it's probably going to be more expensive, and not just in money, but in actual opportunity cost. Think about it. Every month that you spend trying to figure out how to build a funnel or set up, go high level or write a sales script or automate your DMs is a month you could have been collecting $5, $10, even $20,000 or more from paying clients. That's real money you're leaving on the table. Here's the other thing that nobody talks about. The tech alone will bury you if you don't know what you're doing. Go High Level has hundreds of features. MiniChat has dozens of automation triggers. Email sequences need to be written, timed, tested. Payment systems need to handle failed cards, refunds, and payment plans. Webinar funnels need registration pages, reminder sequences, replay systems, and follow-up automation. And then there's the copy, the sales scripts, the DM scripts, the objection handling, the webinar pitch, the email sequences. Each one of these takes weeks to write properly if you've never actually done it before. And then if you get the copy wrong and your funnel doesn't convert, all the tech in the world simply won't save you. And please understand, I'm not saying this to scare you. I'm saying this because I've actually watched several dozens of creators try to do this on their own, and I've seen how it plays out. They spent 3 months building, they launch, and it doesn't work because the copy is wrong or the funnel has a leak or maybe an automation broke or something, and they get frustrated. They go back to posting content and chasing other brand deals, and the opportunity simply passes them by. That's option 1. Option 2 is working with someone who's already built this system for real creators and generated real results. Someone who has the frameworks, the scripts, the automations, the templates, and the operational experience to deploy the entire system for you in 90 days. That's what Offer Launch is. Now, let me be very clear about what Offer Launch is and what it is not. Offer Launch is not a course. I'm not going to sell you a bunch of pre-recorded videos and tell you good luck. If you want to learn how to do this yourself, you wouldn't need me. You could watch all of my YouTube videos and simply figure it out. Offer launch is not coaching. I'm not going to hop on a weekly call, hype you up with some motivation, or give you advice and then send you off to implement on your own. That's actually what most programs do. And by the way, that's why most people who actually buy those coaching programs never get real results. They get advice without execution. You see, Offer Launch is a done-for-you service. I personally build the entire system for you, from extraction to launch to scale. Everything I just walked you through in this video, done for you. Let me walk you through exactly what you get. You get full market, audience, and offer intelligence. I do the research, I analyze your audience, I identify the monetizable transformation, and I validate the offer before we build anything. You get complete offer architecture and product design. I design your offer from scratch. The outcome, the promise, the structure, the pricing, the ascension path, everything. You get full course and curriculum built out. I outline and build the entire course, every module, every lesson, every worksheet, every SOP. You get all the scripts, VSL scripts, webinar scripts, sales call scripts, DM scripts, email scripts, story scripts. Every word that touches a customer is written for you. You get AI systems and custom bot creation, bots trained on your framework, your tone, your methodology, integrated directly into your community and your coaching. You get complete funnel strategy and campaign engineering, full funnel mapping, lead magnets, webinar funnels, DM to call systems, and checkout optimization. You get full CRM setup and infrastructure, pipelines, workflows, automations, calendar integrations, contact management, the entire backend. And you get the automation system. Email, text, webinar, Zoom, conditional logic, fail safes, everything runs on autopilot. You get sales and conversion systems, call flows, show up rate optimization, objection tracking, sales SOPs, commission structures, and call review frameworks. You get DM, chat, and social automation, mini chat and Claude keyword triggers, story replies, human handoff, and lead qualifications. You get payment, checkout, and access systems, payment processor setup, checkout logic, failed payment recovery, access control, terms, and you get the full launch strategy and execution. Launch calendars, story-based launches, email and text sequences, live events, and a post-launch debrief. You get onboarding, fulfillment, and retention systems, client onboarding flows, welcome sequences, community structure, retention optimization, and upsell planning. And you get analytics, optimization, and iteration, KPI tracking, funnel analysis, messaging refinement, offer iteration, and scaling decisions. That is 14 full categories of work. The entire operational backend of a 6 and even 7-figure creator business built for you by someone who's already done it and generated $750,000 plus with just one creator in cash collected by doing it. Now, here's how the pricing works, because this is the important part, and I actually structured it this way intentionally. It works as follows. There's a fraction of an upfront investment combined with revenue share. What that means is simple. You're not paying a massive fee up front and hoping it works. You're putting a little skin in the game, and so am I, because my compensation is directly tied to the revenue we generate together. I only make real money when you make real money, which means I am 100% incentivized to make sure this system works for you. Now, think about that. Most people in this space charge you $15,000, even $20,000 up front and then disappear. Whether you succeed or fail, they already got paid. They have zero incentive to make sure you actually win. With Offer Launch, my incentive is the same as yours. We win together or we simply don't win at all. See, that's the model. Now, every single result that you've seen during this video has come from working with real creators through this exact system. Let me give you a deeper look. Let me start with Alexis Valadares. Alexis is an online real estate coach. See, he actually had a coaching program and he knew his stuff. He had been coaching people in real estate for about 2 years before, but his business was stuck. His months were inconsistent. Some months he'd do 20 or 30,000. Other months he'd barely crack 15. He was completely reliant on setters and closers. He had no launch strategy, no funnel, no automated follow-up, no backend, no infrastructure. He was doing everything manually or just simply not doing it at all. When I came in, we actually implemented the 4-phase system. We extracted the real transformation that his audience was paying for. We rebuilt his offer architecture. We built out the entire course and curriculum, and we wrote every script. We built every funnel. We set up the complete CRM or go high level infrastructure with pipelines, workflows, and automations. And we engineered his launch events. We optimized his sales process as well. The result, $750,000 plus in cash collected in 2025, $906,000 in total revenue, and 281 new clients onboarded into his coaching program that's priced at $4,000 plus. Same person, same expertise, same audience. This system is what made difference. Now, let me tell you about Carlos Handel. Carlos was a full-time realtor. He was doing great in real estate, making more than a living, but he knew that he had knowledge and expertise that other people would pay for. He just didn't know how to package it. He didn't know how to structure an offer. He didn't know what platform to use. He didn't know how to create a course. He didn't know how to write sales copy. He didn't know how to build a funnel. He had all this expertise locked in his head with no way to actually get it out into the market. So we worked together and we built the entire system from scratch. Extracted the transformation, built the product, wrote the script, set up the infrastructure, and Carlos went from being a full-time realtor with zero digital product to having a fully built, ready to sell online offer. A complete digital product with the entire backend to support it. And then there's my good friend Tyson Rogers. Tyson actually started working for me as my client success manager. You see, he was so talented. He understood how these systems work because he was operating inside of it every single day. He saw the results. He saw the process. And he knew that he could take what he learned and applied it to his own thing. So I pushed him to go launch his own offer. And we built the entire platform for him because that's what this system is really about. It's not about keeping people dependent on you. It's about building infrastructure that creates independent. Now, here's what I want you to notice from these stories. None of these people are marketing geniuses. None of them went to school for funnels or copywriting or automation. They're all regular coaches and creators who had an expertise, who had audiences and just needed a system to monetize. The system is the variable. Not the talent, not the luck, not the algorithm, the system. So let's review everything. You now understand why selling your expertise is the best monetization model for creators in 2026. You understand why the alternatives like brand deals, UGC, affiliates, ad revenue, and TikTok shop all have fundamental flaws that will keep you stuck. You've seen the 4-phase offer launch system. Extract, build, launch, scale. And you understand exactly what it takes to go from having expertise and having an audience to having a fully operational business that generates consistent, predictable, high margin revenue. And you've seen the proof. Real creators, real numbers, real results. So here's the current situation. If you are a coach or creator sitting on expertise that should be making you significantly more money than it currently is, and you know that deep down, the only thing standing between you and consistent 5-figure or 6-figure months is the system behind your business, then I want to talk to you. Not a sales pitch, not a webinar, a real conversation about your specific situation, your audience, your expertise, and what it would look like to build the full offer launch system for your business. Now, here's what I can tell you right now. I can only work with a very limited number of clients at any given time because this is done for you. I'm not selling you a course and sending you on your way. I'm personally building your entire system. That takes time, that takes attention, and that takes capacity. So I cannot work with everyone who watches this video. That's just the reality. But if you're serious, if you have expertise, if you have an audience, and even a small one, and if you're ready to stop leaving money on the table, then click the link below this video and book a call with me. Well, on that call, we're going to talk about where you are right now, what you're currently doing to monetize, and where the gaps are, and what the full offer launch system would look like specifically for you. If it's a fit, I'll explain exactly how we work together, the timeline, the investment structure, and if it's not, I'll tell you that too. And I'll give you the best advice I can for moving forward on your own. Look, either way, you'll walk away from that call with more clarity about how to monetize your expertise than you've probably ever had. Now, I did promise you something at the beginning of this video. I said that if you stayed until the end, I would send you the complete offer launch checklist. The exact checklist that I use when I build these systems for my clients. Every single step in order, so you can see exactly what needs to happen to go from expertise to revenue. That link is down in the description below. Grab it. Whether we work together or not, that checklist will give you a massive head start. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for staying with me for the last 45 minutes or so. I know that's a significant investment of your time, and I want to remind you of something. The creator economy is not slowing down. Every single day, more coaches, more experts, more creators are building audiences and hitting the same wall. The wall where they have attention, but no income. The ones who figure out how to build the system on the other side of that wall are the ones who will win for the next decade. You, my friend, can either be the one who builds the system, takes action, and starts getting real revenue from your expertise, or you can be the one sitting back, watching other creators with smaller audiences and less talent pass you by because they figured out the infrastructure that you didn't. The choice is yours. If you want to learn how to monetize your audience in 2026, then click the link below, book a call, and let's build your offer launch system together. I'll see you on the other side.